All right. Yeah. Okay. We're here with the Stephanie from the Monstrum team. She's one of the
I
original core team members, and she handles well, she wears many hats, but she's one of their main programmers and working on Monstrum 1 and 2. Hi, Stephanie.
Hello. That's not very Scottish of me, but I am Scottish from Scotland. I'm sorry, I ruined this.
No, it's great. Keep
Can we
going.
do it again? Can we do it again? I'm so sorry.
Oh, yeah. Let's start over again. Okay. All right. I actually didn't mention anything about Scotland in the intro, so I could throw that in
No.
just to force
Okay.
you to have to say something. All right. Let me gather me marbles here.
This is it. This is our fault. We've put the pressure on ourselves now. You did it great, and I'm like, haha, it's me. I'm Scottish. We.
Oh, yes, I'm Scottish. Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, that was great. I'll probably go with that one even after we record the good one, just to warn you. Don't be like
Oh
shocked and angry later.
no.
High probability. Okay.
Okay.
So, hey
Right.
everybody, I'm here with Stephanie. She's one of the core team members on Monstrum, and she's working on Monstrum 2 as well. And she is based in Scotland with Team Junkfish. Hi, Stephanie.
Hello. Nice to meet you all. It's a pleasure to be here talking to Vince.
You said you're part of the original team that did
hmm
Monstrum 1, so you've been there since the beginning.
I have indeed, yes, because we all met, because we all went to the same course. Well, the University of Abertay, which is in Scotland, and it does like a video game course. So it has the computer arts, the design, the production, and programming and audio. And what's really cool about the third year uh, part of this course is it does a group project with all the different uh, what's that word? Different specialties that come together to work together when you haven't done it before because you've all been programming course and then audio course. And we were a bunch of friends and we didn't really want to do one of the proposed uh, projects. Yeah. We were just like, oh, we've got an idea. We want to do it. And we went up to the lecturer and we're like, hey, big dog, can we do our our crazy idea? And the lecturer was like, Hmm. But he gave us a shot and we worked really well together. And obviously, it wasn't Monstrum. Our first project was called Into the Sky, and you played a tiny little ship and you fought against a bigger ship, but the ship was like modular, so you had to fight the smaller parts and break it off with AI and all this other stuff. But we worked really well together and discovered that maybe we should go on to make games after university together.
So you guys were all in the same. You guys are classmates, and it just
Yes.
kind of you guys all kind of jive with each other so well. You were like, let's just keep doing this.
Yes. Usually when people hear the group project, they're like, no, but we were like, yeah, let's do it.
Is that like after that class you guys made that decision, or after graduation?
Oh, so we had to set up the company during our fourth year because we had to apply for funding and see if we could get the go ahead. So we had to make a prototype during our fourth year, and we weren't really sure if it was going to go ahead. So it's like, do we start looking for jobs or whatnot? But we believed we got some funding and the prototype was good enough. So we that's how the company started after graduation.
Oh, that's
Uh,
awesome. So you guys are actually funded by the is it the Scottish government or some third
no,
party
I'm not
grant?
100% sure on the funding people place we got in the end because it wasn't me who did the funding. I was more in the prototype building stuff, but uh, yeah, it wasn't the Scottish government, that's for sure. It would be nice.
Oh, okay, I know there's some of the governments have like grants for entertainment. Like I know that Red Barrel guys for Outlast got a big grant from
Yeah,
the
they
Canadian
did.
government. So sometimes there's some cool countries that have cool grants for that. Like California and LA don't really have anything that I've
I
seen.
know there is something in the UK, like you do UK Games Fund or something, but there's like rounds and like the amount of money just it's not really much when you think about it because we were like a 10-person team, but we didn't
Oh
have that
wow.
much of a we didn't have a big budget to be fair. Like we didn't have the best pay, let's be honest, but we believed in the project and we believed that the idea we could do is something that should take off. Like so we worked in a person's house in one living room, 10
Oh
of us
wow.
cry. Yeah. 10 of us crammed into this tiny room and all our desks around.
That sounds
And one,
terrible, but also kind of awesome.
it
Like,
was homely.
I mean,
uh,
you become a tight knit group. I guess you kind of have
oh,
to. If you're...
definitely. There was only one bathroom.
Oh no.
But it was tough, but sometimes you got to do these for your dreams and ideas. And now we have an office, so which is awesome. We have a proper office by the sea with 2 toilets and
Dude.
meeting rooms and everything. It's such an improvement, and we honestly are very lucky to be where we are today.
No, that's awesome. I mean, the game was definitely successful, and it's awesome that you guys saw that kind of payoff for you at the end. So now
Yeah,
you're doing Monstrum 2, which I think is going in a direction that could make you guys even more successful than since
well,
you're
we
going
hope
the
so.
multiplayer route.
Well, yeah, the multiplayer route. So when we first released Monstrum, obviously the most asked thing really was, where's multiplayer? And it's like, sure, let me just take the multiplayer button and, there you
Yep.
go.
Just check that box on export, like
Exactly.
multiplayer functionality. There you go.
And also because the game was designed to be a single player experience, all the things like the hiding systems and the running away from the monster and that just wouldn't work with what Monstrum was currently. But it was like something we always sat on because we also love the idea of wanting to play against the monster who was played by one of your friends and all this other stuff. So it was kind of always been in the back burner. But like when we finished Monster, we kind of wanted a break from horror because it was just like I'm very bad with horror games. I I'm the biggest screamer in the office. So um, it, we did like a mini game jam where we all came up with ideas for what our next game would be, and that's when Attack of the Earthlings came, which is not really horror, it's more humor. And then that was just kind of like a little break project before Monstrum 2. And we all knew we wanted to come back to Monstrum, and we all knew we wanted to do multiplayer, but we had to decide like an AI monster or a player controlled monster. And we did a lot of like small prototypes, and it was just like the player monster was always just so much more fun to play against than an AI.
Oh yeah, I bet you. I mean, if you're a screamer, you'd be the perfect tester on the team to like. I always want to test dark deception on whoever is the jumpiest and most easily scared, just to see what sets them off.
Oh
Because
god, Dark Deception got me. I absolutely hate monkeys. So
yeah, I feel like I'm too desensitized, so I can't tell. I'm like, is this scary? I don't know if it's scary or not. So I need to get somebody like well, my wife's big into horror games also. So unfortunately, I can't really test it on her because she's probably not going to be scared either. So when I go to shows, that's like the only real chance I get to find out if it's actually scary or not, because I have a kind of a gut feeling. I'm like, yeah, this seems kind of scary, but I
well,
don't
it
trust
certainly
myself.
was scary. I'll tell you that. The
Oh, it's
sound
all
design
like,
in that game was like, oh my god, I'm on edge constantly.
yeah, we've been called the kind of the anxiety game, I guess, because there's always something, kind of like right on your butt chasing you.
Oh
So
yeah,
Monstrum kind of has that feeling too, but it's a lot more stealth than Dark Deception. So you have a chance to kind of avoid the monsters, whereas ours, we just throw them right in your face and we're like,
for
run.
sure. Yeah. It's just like my technique is hide in a locker for as long as I can. It's all good.
Yeah, I think I saw somebody leave a comment like that. They were like, strategy for playing Monstrum, find a locker, stay there forever.
Yeah. GG.
Yeah, pretty
Uh,
much.
for sure. I mean, like I remember. So I'm one of the programmers. So I deal with the all things fun of code, and I was testing like a lighting feature out in Monstrum. So doing some like flickering lights things or something. So I'm running the game and I'm not really caring about the monster or whatever. I forgot to like just turn it off to do my testing. And I'm like examining these lights and I'm like, this effect could look better. And then like I think the brute went, whoa, and I went,
Oh no.
ah! It was so loud in the office and everyone's just like, Jesus, Stephanie.
Yeah, especially if it happens a lot, like during development, over time, attrition. Like, oh, come on, Stephanie again.
Pretty much, yeah. You'd think I've become decentralized, but no, not me.
So wait, how many coders were there to start? Was it just you in the
There are
beginning?
four of us, so there are four programmers altogether.
Oh, nice.
Um,
So it's not all on your back.
no, oh God, no. I mean, we definitely wore hats, so we did pretty much everything and anything. Like we all kind of specialized in certain areas, but we would all do like a bit of animation, a bit of AI, a bit of graphics, UI, gameplay, physics, all that stuff. There was like not really a chance to just do AI or do this constantly, if that makes sense. Because I'm sure you'd understand if how big was the team for Dark Deception?
Oh man, it fluctuates so much. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, we didn't raise money in the beginning. We tried and failed miserably on Kickstarter. So we kind of self-funded for a long time from our
Oh
day
wow.
jobs. And because of that, it was like a financial roller coaster. Like, all right, we got money now. We're in a good financial spot. We hire up, and then we're like,
Yeah.
oh no, we're in a bad money spot. Hire down. So there's only three of us since the beginning really, and then we've had a lot of contractors that have kind of just come on when we needed help in certain spots. So
Oh
it's not
wow.
like a solid team. So we got so used to that, we just kind of stuck with it, and we're
Yeah, if
like,
it works.
but it's getting to the point where the workload's like so much that we're like, all right, we need to actually grow our team and bring on some other people because these contractors have very fluctuating schedules, and
Yes.
sometimes they're not available. So we're like, we need to start to grow things a bit. So it's a lot better that you guys had 10 people to start with.
Oh
Like
yeah, sure.
that'll make things go a lot faster.
Yeah, because like when we graduated uni, we'd only really knew about our professions in what we studied. We had no clue about marketing or QA or publishing or anything like that. So we were all just like learning how to email press or email YouTubers and just being like, please play our game. You've never heard of us, but we promise we're good.
Oh yeah, I heard some of that in some of the YouTube videos I watched. They're like, I don't know what this game is, but I got it, so I'm gonna play it. And afterwards, they're like, wow, this is really good.
Yeah, it's always really nice like to hear that and people just enjoying your game and you're just like, oh, thank God. Because usually when like it first came out, it was in early access, so it was quite buggy still. And we'd be watching a Let's Play and the monster would bug out and we're just like, no.
So if you had it to do over again, do you think early access was the right way to go, or would you guys have waited till it was
Oh,
complete?
definitely. Early access was one of the best things that we could have done because obviously we didn't know if the public weren't going to like this. We didn't know if some of the directions we went with the game or what people would have wanted from a horror game. So one of the fun aspects, which we always come back to, was the steam pipes. When when we first released Monstrum on early access, if you just touched the steam, it was an instant kill, game over.
Yeah, I
It
remember that.
sucked. Yeah, to be fair, we weren't the biggest fan of it, but like we had to like fight a designer being like, "Come on, the people hate this. Can we at least change it?" And he was like, fine. So we like obviously implemented it based on players' feedback. So if you're like standing and you're just looking at the steam for ages, of course you're gonna die. But if you like run into it, it'll push you back a bit. But that was like something we would only have been able to do if we did early access. But also because we had a very strict budget and a very strict time, we had to get the game out to start, keeping our heads above the water and ourselves fed. So it
Oh
was a
yeah.
very much a saving grace of being like able to release the game in a current state, even though it wasn't perfect, and start getting money back to keep working on it.
Oh yeah. It kind of funds your development as you go.
Exactly, yeah. So it was awesome. I think early access was great for Monstrum.
That's great. I'm glad in your situation it worked out really well because I kind of asked that question to different teams and I get a very mixed bag of responses. Like some of them are super anti-early access. They think it's should be just completely removed from Steam. It's dragging down the games. But others, I think it really helps them. Their situation and their game couldn't have been developed without it.
Oh,
So I'm glad.
definitely.
Yeah, I'm glad that it definitely worked out for you guys in your situation. Like made a great game, and yeah, it does let you get feedback early on and fix things as you go. Whereas, you're kind of chasing the feedback. If you release it all at once, then you have to like start patching really fast to
Yeah.
try to fix everything, and it can break more things. So
Oh God, yeah. We learned very fast as well about releasing a game and needing to get fixes out, like, because obviously when you're in your studio, you've only got the hardware that you've got in the studio to test it on. So people are like, with my 4K monitors on my triple screens, the game doesn't render this, and we're like, okay, hmm, we'll look into that.
oh yeah, that's it's such a like that was the one kind of big shock for me. I'll admit I grew up as a console gamer, not a PC
Mm,
gamer, so I wasn't used to like the wide variety of hardware that gamers use. You know, I always
tell me
hear
about it.
like the PC Master Race thing. I keep hearing that, so I'm like, okay, these guys all have like monstrous PCs that can handle anything. And actually, like when we did our hardware survey, I think like 40% of our players have something weaker than a phone. It's like still using 4 gigabytes of RAM or
Oh
less.
God,
And they're
yeah.
like, it can't run our game. So I don't know if you guys ran into that as a problem at first, because your game does look good. I mean, it's using Unity,
Mm.
but I don't know if it would still, if you still had some kind of optimization or performance issues with those lower end machines. With
So the
the
programmers were gifted the crappiest PCs out of the whole team because we were like, basically, if you can get the game running on this basic software, we should be good to cover the lower end of the spectrum. So we had not the best memory, not the best graphics cards, and it certainly was a pain. It's obviously not perfect in a lot of areas, but and Unity did cause us some problems with just not having the best culling support. Because as well, because of our game being procedurally generated, everything was in real time. So the
oh yeah,
lights and all that couldn't be baked in, and we wanted to do cool things with flickering shadows and all this other stuff, just which just doesn't work with baked lighting. So we had to be like, okay, crazy culling, figure out what the player can see, do pathfinding for that, pathfinding for the monster, which is constant as well. Like we never teleport the monsters, and it was just like it was a pain in the ass to be honest, but I think we did okay.
oh man, yeah. We're kind of going through that right now. We're trying to bring Dark Deception to mobile, and we're kind of in the same
Oh,
situation. Like all of our lighting was dynamic, so
yeah.
it's painful. It's so painful. So I can imagine even at that stage on PC, like trying to get that to run on those lower end machines. It's pretty much almost the same as trying to get it to run on mobile.
You guys are I wish you all the best. Like people have been like, bring Monstrum to mobile, and we're just like, no.
You can do it. It's just meant prepare for some pain.
Yeah, it probably like make the textures and the monsters look like blobs.
Pretty
Like,
much.
don't even get me started on some of the stuff we did to get it working for VR, because oh, that caused a lot of grief.
Oh yeah. Well, actually, I was really interested that you guys did another game, Attack of the Earthlings. I actually didn't even know about that one until you just mentioned it. So now I'm gonna have to go check that out.
It's
Like,
completely different from Monstrum, but like another thing, so like obviously with Monstrum, people wanted to play as the monster. So that was kind of like one of the reasons why we went down with Attack of the Earthlings, where it's kind of. Do you know of the IT Crowd? It's like a British comedy show.
I do not. Fill me
Okay,
in.
well, don't worry about it. We describe the game as like reverse XCOM meets the IT Crowd. So it's just like dark humor, uh, a corporation that's run by idiots, and you play as the aliens because they've landed on your planet and they're taking all the resources. So you're like the matriarch, and you're like, well, I'm going to kill you all, but it's funny and silly. Very unlike Monstrum.
Oh yeah, that's a huge departure. That's
It
I was looking
definitely,
at the screens and I was like, oh, this kind of reminds me of XCOM a little bit, but
yeah.
that sounds a lot more interesting.
It was a lot of fun. I think it was good to do because we obviously were able to expand on our skill set and do something we weren't like, not first person and uh, generated levels and just voice acting and stories and all this other stuff that we didn't really have the opportunity to do in Monstrum.
Okay, so this game looks like it could go to mobile pretty easily. It's a top-down isometric strategy game.
I mean,
That was
it's more just like our time because obviously our team's not the biggest, so all of our eggs right now are definitely on a Monstrum too. But I think there's some stuff in the pipeline for Attack of the Earthlings, but I'm not 100% sure just now.
Oh yeah, I saw you guys recently launched you started accepting applications for the beta, so congrats on that. Sounds like you guys
The
are getting
closed
pretty
alpha,
close.
but the beta will be later.
Oh, the beta. Oh, it's closed alpha. Okay, sorry.
Yes, yes.
I got
No,
like a
no worries.
message from somebody that it was a beta. So
Oh god. If it is in the beta, oh boy.
I was like, oh, you guys are really close, a lot closer than I thought. It's already in
Oh no,
beta.
we still got a lot of work to do, but we wanted to like get feedback from players a little bit earlier to see if the direction that we're going is what fans of Monstrum would enjoy for something like a horror game that's multiplayer. So it's like an opportunity for us to be like, do people enjoy this? And also for us to squash bugs, because this is our first time ever doing multiplayer. So I guess I'm a network programmer now.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, Monstrum 2 is looking amazing. You guys have some really impressive concept art going for that, and the trailer. I mean, it doesn't show a lot. It showed the Brute, the one I saw, but it's
Yeah.
definitely intriguing, and it's definitely got me excited. I'm gonna play it a lot. I love Dead by Daylight,
Thank
so
you.
and I love horror games, so I'm definitely gonna be playing this when it comes out, whenever
Oh
that
yeah,
is.
we're definitely getting a lot of, oh, it's just not another Dead by Daylight. And we're like, well, no, it's not Dead by Daylight for you. It's Monstrum 2.
Oh, don't worry about that. You're gonna. It's because it's the only thing out, and it's the most successful
Oh, for
multiplayer horror
sure.
game. So everything's gonna get compared to that.
For sure, absolutely. It's just trying to be like, what does that game do well? What do the fans not like about that game? But also try not to play it a lot and just focus on our game. Because that's what we did with Monstrum is like we took inspiration from Amnesia and The Binding of Isaac for Monstrum because it was procedurally generated for The Binding of Isaac and Amnesia was terrifying. So that's kind of how Monstrum was born because we would watch like YouTubers and people playing it, and because it was like set, you always knew where the scares were going to be or the monsters were, and
Hmm.
then that's why we added the procedural generation and randomizing of it, because you never knew where the monsters were going to be, which was terrifying.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's like even the rooms change, so it's like you go in and it's like one time there's a bed here and the next time there's not. It's always different, so you lose your sense of where these items you're looking for are.
Absolutely. I have absolute terrible direction in video games, absolutely terrible. So Monstrum for me was like, oh, I can't get out. I don't even know my own game.
Oh yeah, I'm really well. One of the things my players ask me a lot is to like play my own game, and I'm really scared to do that because then they'll see how much I suck at it. They're like, I think I've S ranked one level.
Have you like not got the map ways down to get all the gems in like one solid run?
Oh man, it's like just because I'm a little bit jumpy, kind of like you. I'm a bit jumpy too, so
Yeah.
it's like horror. It's horror itself doesn't scare me, but I'm easily jump scared.
Oh,
So
totally.
I kind of kill myself a lot, and it's always like right as I'm about to get S rank, so I can never quite beat it. And then I can get through the levels, but I never get like higher than B or A because I'm kind of impatient. I just rush through it.
I take it you've also like experienced when you just watch people play it. You're just like, I never thought to do that. Oh god damn.
Oh man, I've learned so much from watching the people who are actually good at my game play it. Like I'm like, wow, these. So that's how you get an S rank. I'm like balancing this, but I use these guys as kind of a roadmap to balance it further, like seeing how they play it. And I'm like, oh man, okay.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't know
really
if
good
this
though
was,
that you do that because it shows that you're watching your community and trying to make the game as best as you can for them, which is I
oh yeah,
respect that.
but you run out of. It's hard to get the time sometime to keep watching all the videos and seeing things. But you still try to set aside a little time just to stay in touch with your fan base, and
Oh,
I think that
definitely.
helps a lot when you're working on the game because I mean, you don't really build things to your fans' expectations, but can help you avoid areas that might cause frustration or like those pain points in the game that some developers are kind of blind to because of their own kind of love for their own project. They're not
For
objective enough.
sure.
So it definitely helps you step outside and look at things from the fans' perspective a bit. Since
Definitely
our
like I find the players and the fans are like the most important thing because obviously we wouldn't be where we are today without people loving the games. So just if they're not enjoying something and we think it's like not good for the game, obviously we'll be like, well, they're right. We should change this.
Oh yeah, I think you guys built a really dedicated following because I mean it's been what like almost 5 years now, and they're still talking
Yeah.
about Monstrum. I mean,
Yep.
we put that in our list because our fans still mention it to us, and also because we played it ourselves. But even if we hadn't, if we didn't know what Monstrum was, our fans are suggesting it to us. So you guys are definitely into that group
That's
of
crazy.
successful indie horror titles that people will just love for the next 10 years.
I've
So
made it,
it's
Mom.
yeah, you've definitely made it into the consciousness of the YouTube community. So
Yeah, someone called it a retro horror game the other day, and I was just like, I think I aged 20 years. It's like, oh
oh
no.
man, our fans, they're so young, they think everything was invented in the last 5 years. So that's pretty normal. I'm pretty sure. We have two versions of Dark Deception. There's the old 2014 version and this version, the new one.
Hmm.
And yeah, they call that old one, which is only like 5, 6 years ago, I think. They're calling that like the legacy version, or I forget. They gave it like this really antique-y name, and I was just like, oh man, I feel like I've been doing this for 2 decades now.
It came out on the Nintendo 64, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I just call it Dark Deception 64. In fact, maybe we'll make
That's
like a
brilliant.
parody of that. We'll make like a unlockable hidden game inside the final version that has like a really old retro and crappy looking Dark Deception, like it was on PS1.
One of the maps is like the GameCube logo.
There you go. You guys should do that for Monster 2. Throw like a Doom looking Monstrum 1 in there as like a
Oh
hidden
man.
game.
As much as we like wanted to do like add more monsters and add so much more to Monstrum, like we had to keep the bread on the table as I keep saying, so we had to like get on to the next game and get on to the next game. God,
Yeah,
game dev's hard.
it is. There's definitely a runway. Like you want to do all these things, but you're like, all right, while you're sitting there thinking about the next idea, you're just watching your cash burn because
Hmm.
you got to pay everybody, you got to pay your bills, so
Oh yeah.
you
People
definitely
are
have a
like, oh,
time
you
limit.
just pay the devs. I'm like, and the software, and then rent, and then the facility costs, and then the marketing, and then the list goes on.
And Valve and the taxes and
Yep.
yeah, they're taking big chunks. So
Oh,
it's
don't get me started about Steam's 30%. Ouch.
oh man, I was really hoping that Epic Store would pressure them to change that, at least lower it down to like 12. I feel like 12 is the fair number it
I
should
think
be.
so, yeah. And Valve are just like, sorry, we can't hear you over all our money.
Exactly. I know it's going to change eventually because I mean, I thought Fortnite would do it, but eventually there's going to be a title that's so successful that they can kind of push things their way and we can finally get away from this 30% cut. But
Yeah,
still the standard, unfortunately.
yeah, sucks. One day.
Oh man, but yeah, let me get to these questions so I can
Mhm.
get those in. I feel like we've already answered some of them, so I may ask them again.
That's
Sorry to make
perfectly
you.
fine. Sorry, I've been waffling as well.
Oh no, that's fine. So I mean, these are my own personal questions. I wish I would have gathered them from my fan base to get some of the fan communities questions as well. But I think this will kind of fill their need as well. I think some of these questions tap into what they'd want to hear. So
Awesome.
hopefully they'll like it. We'll see. So, I mean, the first one was, Monstrum is very unique in the fact that it takes place on, I don't know if I'm going to butcher this, the Hisamaru. A-
Goodness, even I can't remember a ship.
It's a
A ship.
derelict cargo ship, but I
Yeah.
mean, a lot of your games are themed at sea so far. I mean, you said your first game was about ships doing battle, the modular ship game, and then, Monstrum 1 and 2. Like, what inspired your team to make horror games set at sea?
Oh, so one of the reasons for the setting was it was actually Amnesia inspired because it's just like, why don't you just smash a window with a chair and get the hell out of that castle, you know? Like, why would you go deeper down into this castle? If it was me, I'd be like running for the hills. So we were just thinking, a ship at sea, you wouldn't be able to do that because it's instant death in the water. So obviously you're going to have to spend time on the ship that you don't want to do to fix the things to get off it correctly.
So you basically, the reason you guys are doing horror games set at sea is to basically kill any intelligent argument against your horror setting.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't he
Also,
just smash
it's
a window and come?
terrifying. Yeah.
Yeah, the ocean is terrifying. It's definitely an unknown void, especially if you're lost at sea. So that, I mean, it's really, especially at night out in the middle of the ocean, that's really terrifying in itself. Much less on a
Yes,
cargo ship overrun with uh, unknown creatures that are chasing you, trying to kill you. So
definitely.
that's
I mean, Outlast as well. It's just like, why are you going into the asylum? Why don't you just smash a window and get out of there? Like, what are you doing?
oh man, Amnesia. I actually never beat Amnesia. Like I played through the beginning and I was so bad at it. It's more like I was so scared by the monsters that I
Yeah.
stopped playing it and I was like, I'm gonna watch other people play it.
Oh, God, it was hard game, very difficult. I was a screamer, and I was like you. I think I got to the dungeons or something, and I just couldn't play anymore. I was like, nope, it's too dark. I'm done.
I think that's what it was. It was so dark I couldn't see. That's weird because I got through Outlast just fine and I beat that game, but I couldn't get through Amnesia. I don't know what that is. But yeah, you guys definitely have an awesome setting, and I actually I love the ocean. I spend a lot of time out like diving and stuff. So I was really happy that somebody was making an ocean-based horror game. I mean, we had Soma, but that was more of like a suspense. It's kind of a suspenseful horror game. It's not like a true horror. It was more kind of a psychological
Story.
horror.
Yeah,
It
it
was
was
like more
cool. I
just,
definitely like the undersea setting and stuff because I also love the ocean.
but yours was just straight up horror. Like, run for your life.
Yep.
Definitely an amnesia feel. So it's cool that you guys are inspired by that because I definitely get the amnesia vibes while playing it.
Awesome.
So speaking about the monsters, a lot of people like the Fiend and the Hunter, but it seems like the Brute is easily the favorite of most people in Monstrum 1. So how did your team come up with that character?
Oh goodness. I think just the artist, we knew we wanted to create like a big hulking brute kind of a creature that so like if you were standing still and you heard like big thumping about, you're like, oh God, what is that? So we knew we wanted to create something that was like a big hulking mass and of muscles, and I think just with the concept art we just got really attached to the magma man sort of idea. So that I guess that's how the brute came to be.
And you're like, let's throw that at them first thing.
Yep.
As soon as they get on the ship, that's the first thing that's going to come at them.
Classic game amnesia, am I right?
Oh man, it's like you took the worst you had and threw it at them right away. I love that. No, up the challenge. Why not?
Yeah, just go in. It's all about learning. Like Spelunky as well. Spelunky was one of the games that was another reason why we just used it because it's like, will this kill me? You try it out, it kills you. You're like, got it. Okay, won't do that again.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially with the procedurally generated environment, it definitely is like throwing darts at a board. Like you never know what you're going. You're going in blind, basically.
Yep.
So there's no chance to have that kind of trial and error memory because it changes.
Avoid security cameras and
Yeah.
Steam's bad.
Yeah, don't take Steam in the face, especially back when it used to insta kill.
Oh goodness.
So besides the multiplayer in Monstrum 2, what are the key differences or some of the key differences between Monstrum 1 and 2 that players can look forward to?
So obviously we noticed with Monstrum 1 there would be sometimes long periods of just scavenging, looking for that one item that you needed, and it was quite a painful experience. Sometimes you're just like, where are these goddamn helicopter keys? So we wanted to make the game more engaging. So there's like more stuff to do in the fort. The items that you find around allow you the players to do more. Uh, and also because it's a sea fort, it's allowed us to do a lot more with the levels, like having bigger, cooler like set pieces and puzzles for players to figure out while still being procedurally generated and random to a degree. So you can't like start up a game and be like, I know I'm going to get this part of the sea fort with this puzzle, and you have to like get to it and be like, oh, okay, right, I see what they're going for this.
Oh,
As
that's
well as
awesome. So it's still going to have kind of the puzzle element and
yes,
the crafting element of the first game. So they have to find all the components and pieces to accomplish a task or build something or unlock
Yes.
or get through a puzzle. Oh, that's going to be
We
interesting.
we definitely like when we first started off, we were just like, okay, let's just straight up try and make Monstrum multiplayer. So finding items for an escape route, taking it to an escape route, and fixing that up. Then we realized there were so many flaws with that with a player-controlled monster. We were just like, right, back to the drawing board. What can we do? And I think we've come up with something that we're all quite happy with, which is fair for both teams and not just like a monster killing spree, because obviously everyone would converge to the one area, which with a monster player that can, insta kill you, that's not the best scenario.
So you have, I'm guessing you're going to bring in the original 3 monsters from Monstrum 1. Do you have any new monsters planned for Monstrum 2?
Only the brute is confirmed for Monstrum 2. That's
Oh,
all I
wow,
can say
really?
for now.
Okay.
But our promotional material and our Steam header and stuff is definitely a new monster, so that's all I can say for now.
All right. Well, we'll leave that one a secret for now, but that already tells us plenty, so that's awesome. Now that you've gone through development of Monstrum 1, you had a lot of lessons learned from that. What was the most challenging part of developing Monstrum 1 and compared to Monstrum 2?
Well, with Monstrum 1, doors. Oh god, yes, doors, that's it. Yep. I was like, we didn't really know what we were doing, but looking back on it, yeah, doors.
Is that because of enemy pathing? Like monster couldn't get
Oh,
through the doors?
there's so many things. There's a great article that's kind of like a games industry, like knowing one called like doors in video games, and it's like when you add a door into a video game and all the different routes that come with it. So with ours, we didn't want to break up the chase with a monster. So obviously, if you're going to open up a door, and because ours opened in and out, we had to like get the systems for pushing back the player, but so it didn't break up the chase. And if they're closing the door, it doesn't close them out. But obviously, it was never perfect. The angle maths behind it was really difficult. We just couldn't get it right for every like slight angle variation. So doors.
It's funny you say that because in our game, there's the second level has a little girl that runs around a school. When we kind of made that same mistake, we put doors in,
Yeah.
and it was working so well, and because she teleports and she can teleport through the door. But then we ran into a bug where when they close the door in her face right as she's approaching it, she just kind of stands there, like really confused and not sure what to do, and then she finds an alternate route around. But yeah, doors.
Doors. Because obviously the brute, he could smash through all the doors. That's what we wanted. The fiend, because he's like telekinetic, he could open up doors, and then we added locks onto the doors and to slow down things like the hunter. But doors. So we've learned a lot from that and have made them a lot better for Monstrum 2. Yay!
Oh, so you still have the doors in Monstrum 2?
We have doors. Whether or not they're exactly like the ones in Monstrum 2 will be revealed in the future.
Okay, that'll be interesting. We're gonna have to test out those doors.
Oh no, please don't.
Definitely. All right, that's gonna be my focus now when I go through to play Monstrum 2. Like I'm gonna try to like just for fun start streaming some gameplays. So definitely Monstrum 2 and Monstrum 1 are on that list. I'm gonna try
hopefully
to like
we've made
stream
it
them
so
together.
we've hopefully made it so the doors you don't even think about in Monstrum 2. They're there, but are they there?
Well, to be determined. We'll see. Well, speaking of streaming and YouTube and Twitch in general, which YouTuber have you enjoyed watching play Monstrum the most?
See, this is really difficult because I can't. There's a couple I can name off the top of my head, but like they're all good in their own way. So I love Dashi. Dashi's plays of Monstrum are some of my favorite. Soviet Womble, his editing was always really fun to watch, and yeah, it's just people like that where I like didn't even know people like someone like Dashi would play a game like I made. And it's just like, wow, you enjoyed it, that's good. And Vinny Vinesauce played it on Twitch, and I've been following him for years. So obviously my game was old, so it's like, he's never gonna play it. And then he streamed Monstrum. I was like, what?
Oh man, Dashi. Yeah, I had a habit of playing his videos in the background while I worked when we first started working on our game, and so you know how he is. Like we'll be working, it'll be quiet, and all of a sudden he'll just scream at the top of his lungs. It's like, why is that person so angry? all the time.
Or it's just like, he's like, I don't get it. I'm like, you're standing right by the item you need. Pick it up, please.
Oh, I loved when he was just running around with a cup of hot cocoa, and that was like
Yeah.
his like warm blanket in Monstrum.
Take that, brute. That'll slow you down.
Exactly. Oh man, I'm gonna go watch those videos again, just because that's the thing. You can watch those over and over again. They're never get old.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's interesting that you guys were all classmates together in college because, as you know, there's a lot of fans are aspiring indie developers themselves, and they may also be sitting in class doing a crummy class project with classmates that may become their own indie team someday. So, is there any advice you'd like to impart to aspiring indie developers who are inspired by Monstrum or other indie horror games that you wish somebody had given you when you were starting out?
Oh, yes. Be prepared to wear many hats. So, if you study programming, you might do programming, but you might also help out with the emails and the socials, which is what I did. But also, like, be prepared to help out anyone in the team that needs help. So don't be like, that's not my job. I don't know that. Just be like, okay, let's see what's the problem and see if we can figure it out. It's teamwork really did. It's the main reason we got our games out, because we all respected each other. We didn't, talk down, and it was just about working together to get the project that we envisioned out. It's hard work, but it's so worth it.
So there was definitely just harmony the whole way. Nobody flipped any tables.
Nope,
No,
no
no
table flipping.
no design by shouting.
Nah, I mean, obviously sometimes there would be arguments, as is, but it wasn't like, you're wrong and I'm right.
I was at a large studio once that had about 20 designers, and
Whew.
kind of the way that room operated was whoever's design pitch or idea was the loudest was the one that got into the game.
Oh man. Oh, that's not good.
So it's refreshing. I mean, in the indie scene's a little bit different. So it's cool. Like, yeah, you guys work together the whole way. You guys are in like crammed into a little room.
We have a big office now.
Everything's just out in the open. There's no like hidden bad feelings or anything. Everything's ironed out immediately because it has to be.
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, that's cool. I mean, you got to wear a lot of hats. Did you wear an artist hat at all? Did you get to do any programmer art?
Oh, see that Junkfish logo? That's my bad boy.
The Junkfish logo is you.
Yes, I drew the Junkfish logo. I like to draw as like a hobby, so some of my art did make it into the game, mostly like UI and textures and stuff. But yeah, I drew the wee Junkfish.
Oh, that's actually pretty good. Usually programmer art's kind of a story
Oh yeah,
in itself. So that's
I've
actually
seen programmer
impressive.
art.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, you guys have done amazing work, and I'm a big fan of your game. So I'm really
Thank
glad that
you.
you guys made it through.
But you too. Your game is bloody terrifying, and you've got so many chapters coming out, which is awesome, and a lovely player base. So I respect what you guys have done as well.
Oh, thank you. That's appreciated. We're still kind of in the journey, but we're looking forward to that point where we wrap the first one up and we can start, like you guys did, do something different.
Yes, it feels good.
Oh yeah, been
You can
doing
do
this.
it. We're
We'll
rooting for you.
Oh, thanks. Oh man, that'd be great. And who knows? Maybe someday we'll have a Monstrum Dark Deception level or something. in
That
the
would be
future. Who
pretty
knows?
sweet. I'm not gonna lie. I think it would work quite well.
I think it would. I mean, the style's pretty similar, so we'll see what the future holds. You guys are
Definitely.
working on an amazing game. We're wrapping ours up, and we're both going to be busy for quite a while.
Yeah, it just doesn't stop, does it?
No, it doesn't. I think we're pretty booked for 2020, and I'm sure you guys are pretty booked as well. It seems like this is
Yep.
going to run you to at least October, right? Seems
Yep.
like that's what you put out.
Very. So hopefully, we're hoping, all fingers crossed, and everything's smooth sailing, that we'll get the game out for Q4. Hopefully around about October time. That's what we're hoping.
Well, we're definitely going to be keeping an eye on it. We're all rooting for you.
Oh,
And I'm
thank
really
you so
happy
much.
you took time out of your day today to come do this interview with us.
Honestly, all my pleasure.
This is our first one,
Oh,
this little
goodness.
series. So it'd be really cool if like other teams kind of hear this and are willing to kind of have this little talk with us as well, just to kind of open players up to other horror games. We hope like our fans will go give Monstrum a try after
Oh,
they watch
thank you.
this.
Well, I hope our fans go play Dark Deception, though I'm sure most of them will have because it's a great game.
Yeah, it kind of works both ways. So it's really cool to kind of hear this background story about how this game was made. You know, I've only played it, but it's really interesting to hear like how it was developed and who was involved and who did the Team Junkfish logo. So, all the questions have been answered. There's nothing left to learn.
Yay. Oh, well, you're a delight to talk to. Thank you very much for also reaching out to us.
Oh no, it was my pleasure. Thank you very much.